So this is season 1, episode 3 of Orange is the New Black, and here the viewpoint character is Sophia, Laverne Cox's character, who's in the first two episodes basically just showed up in one scene each, just like letting you know to keep an eye on her. And like one of the few things I knew about the show going in was that Laverne Cox was in it, and that she has a twin brother who plays the character Priop. Now that is a lucky piece of casting right there. Now, the one thing I've seen her in before was the Fox Rocky Horror Picture Show remake, in which she was horribly miscast. So this seems to be like a much better use of her talents, and she does a really good job so far. So far, she's like in the first two episodes, she was mainly this kind of comic relief thing, but here she gets to show more of like what's actually going on, and like the very natural drama that comes from having a transgender person in a place where they don't have easy access to like the hormones they need. And so that is definitely going to continue being an issue because she did not solve the problem by the end of the episode. So I'm really looking forward to where that's going because it could go somewhere like pretty um, hard to watch, but still giving Laverne Cox a good thing to play. And also kudos to her brother because this is not an easy thing to do, and he definitely is believable as the same character while also being just different enough that you can really tell the change that's going on and believe that this is something that she had to do for herself. So other than that, we also get to see more of Suzanne, or I guess her official name among the show is Crazy Eyes. And I actually spent the whole episode thinking that she was just putting all this on because it let her keep to herself, but then she pees on the floor at the end, so maybe not. But I'm guessing she has her own flashback episode coming up, so no early judgments. I'll wait until I see what's really going on with her. One thing I haven't brought up yet is this one prisoner who's in with her mother and is possibly having an affair with a guard because like that's just been kind of simmering in the background. She definitely also has her own flashback coming up. Maybe they both do, but I definitely have been keeping an eye on it because it's one of the more interesting things there. And one thing that is kind of weird is that each episode has like these lost style flashbacks to how someone ended up in prison. But we also have a few in each episode about just Piper that have nothing to do with them. And it doesn't really quite work for me because so far they've told us really nothing we couldn't have figured out for ourselves. But maybe they're going somewhere good, so I'll just hold off on judging that one. Although one other thing I should mention about Sophia's backstory, because like that's what the whole episode is about. Turns out her son turned her in for stealing credit cards or credit card fraud or something. I wasn't really up on. I didn't really quite get what was going on there, but uh, from what I can tell, she really was guilty of it. So they don't look like too much of a jerk for like calling her a criminal and stuff. But one thing that does not quite work for me, her son, not a good actor at all. He just goes around with this completely blank look on his face, pretty much like me. But that's why I don't do that for a living. And hopefully we don't actually have to see that much more of him because it seems to have like been structured in such a way that we don't have to. But I'm guessing he will make it at least a couple appearances because the story is supposed to be that he really has a problem with his father being a transgender, but they have to have him come to terms with that somehow. And I don't know, maybe as he gets older, he'll become better at it. But for now, it's kind of a misstep, and it's a shame because otherwise her story works really well. And that's all I got for this one. And the show's really shaping up now. I'm getting a much better sense of like what it's trying to be, where it wants to go, but still holding enough surprises. So I'll see you all next time on this one. Show's getting really good now.